Ah, okay. That was a pretty long and eventful map. Eventful. But anyway, this is the new character that I have been messing around with since yesterday. It is well, a range stacking cyclone basically. I will try to get a very big cyclone. It's not technically the biggest that you can do, because the biggest that you can do will require you to actually kind of like sacrifice everything for just AOE and range, right? Then that is not realistically a good character. Maybe you can do something crazy like that with like a Headhunter, and then you just get all the damage basically from the Headhunter as you stack a bunch of AoE weapon range. Just basically you will go and get like all the AoE possible. You will go like, the tree is going to be very crazy in order to get like the maximum amount of AoE basically. But I think I have been having a pretty respectable cyclone. It pretty much hit my upper and lower edge of the screen here, right? So yeah, I'm happy with this one. It does go a little bit into trying to get maximum weapon range. For example, I get like even the point here, the little point here for weapon range, this for range, this for range, master of the arena for range, and a there is just basically I get a bunch of weapon range basically, and then AoE as well. So my Cyclone is a pretty respectable size. The star of the show here is actually the plus 2 meters to weapon range in the sword over here. It is a rune crafting, rune smithing thing that you can have on one-handed sword in King's March. It costs around 20 divine at the moment. Pretty much I think it either will help you play with strike skill from a extremely long distance, or it will help you to do something like this, like the Cyclone over here. And I do have some kind of nostalgic memory against for the Cyclone back in Legion, back in the old days where we can have just an insane amount. I personally have played a like Cyclone and Vengeance Cast When Image Taken character, I think back in what was it? That is the Tattoo League. That is the what is the Tattoo League? It's the Tota. Yeah, back in Tota League, right? So because back then we have the tattoo to give us actually 2 weapon range, or 2 meters to weapon range for each strength node, and I just stacked a bunch of it. Back then we have Vengeance this league. Sadly, tragically, we no longer have Vengeance as a skill. I love Vengeance, man. Please do bring back Vengeance. But anyway, it is just a big ass Cyclone and a big ass Vengeance. That's basically, the Vengeance will go way over the screen actually, and to the two side, like to the two side here, it will go way over the screen. That is the glorious day. But here, this is probably the biggest Cyclone that we are able to have in a while, basically, and all thanks to the weapon range, right? So that is the main shenanigan of this character. I will try to talk a little bit about the character. So as you can see, a lot of uniques. I am using Abyssus here, replica Abyssus. The increased elemental damage taken is not really that bad if you use like Svalin. The extremely broken shield. I have max block, so I don't get hit 90% of the time anyway. And then on top of it, I have like maximum charges all the time with the Ralakash over here. The Doriani prototype is the main source of damage. It makes enemies resistances goes equal to yours, which is minus 200%. To mitigate the downside of this body armor, by the way, the downside I want to explain a little bit. Lightning resistant does not affect lightning damage taken. So that means your lightning resistant is completely useless, which means the lightning damage that you take will calculate as you having 0 lightning resistances. So minus 200% or 0 is still the same in terms of like the lightning damage that you are supposed to take. However, 0% is already very, very bad. So what I do here is I convert 100% of lightning damage taken as something else. I use Divine Flesh to convert 50% of it to Chaos damage. And then I am using a combo of Watcher's Eye for 20% and Sublime Vision for another 30% for lightning damage converted to cold. These combo of these three jewels apparently also convert all your fire damage to cold and to chaos as well. So, well, I don't need to worry about two resistances instead of one. I don't need to worry about fire resist. I don't need to worry about lightning resist. I don't need to worry about anything that deals those kind of damage that is going to have a lot of penetration like bosses, right? So it is pretty good. You can do it with like Purity of Fire, Sublime Vision, and Purity of Fire, Watcher's Eye as well. But those are way more expensive than the Purity of Ice. And so I just decided to go for Purity of Ice, right? That is the first thing that I think is interesting. You kind of want to get a bunch of minus lightning resistances on your jewelry. You don't, and you will probably most of you will not be able to get like something like this, but the basic thing is you want to have a bunch of minus lightning resistances to get your lightning resistant to minus 200%, which is the lower cap, right? The negative cap of resistant. So it can be on rings. You have 2 rings and 1 amulet to do it, so you don't need to go all in one place like I do here. And by the way, initially you already have minus 60%. If you are using a Thread of Hope like I do here, you also have another minus 20% already. As you can see, I have way above the minus cap of lightning resistances. So this thing looks nice, but it technically is not necessary. The 600 life is crazy. It's a lot of life, but the minus resistances, it can be like 120% and it will be okay. So you can have like 120% minus lightning resistances and as much life as possible, a little bit of attribute on your rings and amulet, and you will be a-okay. You don't need to copy this. The reduced projectile speed, well, I bought it like this. This one in particular, it doesn't actually do anything, the reduced projectile speed. The other thing I think is interesting, Mageblood is very self-explanatory. I just have it. It is very strong, so I get it. The Null and Void here, technically, what I look for is not this glove. What I look for is just the Frenzy Charge and the base crit for a glove, which is all the corrupted implicit. So just get basically anything nice. I think Worm Sign, Worm Scale is going to be very nice as well. It does give Rampage like this one. Rampage is pretty good for mapping, so yeah, it feels good, and I buy it. This one, it's only 20 KS for some reason. I think it should be like 1 to Divine, at least, right? Those kind of gloves, you can find a bunch of them on the market. It doesn't need to be this exact glove, by the way. Right. Svalin, very self-explanatory. I think one very interesting thing that I think not a lot of people is using is, so Herald Thunder here, just because I don't have another socket, but the main thing, for example, in this build, right? If you think about it, I already have the enemy's resistances at the lowest possible. So any curse that reduce their resistances technically do not do anything, right? So we do not trigger any curses from here. And exposure, any skill that like expose enemy is not going to do anything else as well, because they already are at the minimum possible resistance. So I choose to trigger Summon Lightning Golem. It can be Lightning Golem, Ice Golem, or Fire Golem, because they are elemental spells. So this allows me to actually have very close to 100% uptime of the Golem buff, which is very nice. I think this is a very nice tech to use in Svalin if you don't have anything better to do. Obviously, the cursors and the exposure is going to be very obvious to use, but personally, I do like this one. Something else that you might consider to put in, for example, I think there is a spell I think that is like extremely good for Svalin. Oh, where is the Lily? I forgot the name. Oh, Purifying Flame. Yeah, this thing, it doesn't do any damage, but it does create a consecrated ground. Not every build has consecrated ground on by default, so this one is going to be a very, very nice one as well. So, you know, keep that in mind, right? Okay, so I am using Cyclone of Tumult. Technically, this is not really like smooth for mapping because it does slow down your character quite a lot. But if you go for like tier 17 with this particular setup, you probably would want Tumult for more damage. The normal Cyclone is going to be faster. Your character is moving faster, is what I mean. And you can just keep channeling Cyclone, you know, throughout the map, basically, if you want to. But Tumult is just going to give a lot more damage. And I am okay with like moving around with my Whirling Blade and my Frost Blade, right? Frostfling is going to be a little bit better than Flame Dash in this case because the Cyclone here, you can use Frostfling while you are cycloning and it will not break the channel, as it is technically an instant skill. Where is Frostfling? Holy. Yeah, here. It is an instant skill, so it will not break your channel, so you can just reposition yourself for like dodging a big slam, for example. You can just use Frostblade basically. And you will keep all the stack of Cyclone of Tumult, which is a lot of more attack speed, which is a lot of more damage, basically. The links, this one for damage and deal with Reflect, so we can do Reflect map. Volatility is like the best support skill gem, the most amount of damage that you can have. Awaken added lightning damage, it is like extremely important actually, because we don't have a lot of base damage. All that we have here, we can only deal lightning damage, right? And we are using the Sublime Vision for Purity of Ice, so there's no way to fit in Wrath. That is a big problem, right? We don't have Wrath. And that is a lot of flat damage that we do not have for Doriani prototype build. So Awaken lightning damage support is extremely, extremely important. You would want to get it level 6 like I do here. Quality would be nicer. I sniped this one for only 3 divine, but if you want like a normal Awaken lightning damage that is level 6, normally it is also 20% quality and it will cost you like 10 divine or something. Pulverize for more AOE and increased area of effect for more AOE. For bossing, right, by the way, just by swapping out this shit for Conk effect, you will still have a pretty respectable AOE Cyclone to do like bosses. And you will just have way more damage. But here, I pretty much just try to go for the meme here and try to get as much of an AOE as possible. It looks fun. It looks fun. I really like it, right? Maybe I would try to do something with a Rage Vortex of Berserking as well. Because if you think about it, when you turn on Rage Vortex of Berserking, right, you can still cycle. And basically, you will have 2 circles on top of each other, and they will deal damage at the same time. And maybe that is going to be like a stronger setup damage-wise. But we probably have to remove this helmet. Even though we do lose a lot of crit multi. But I would like to have like a 6 link, second 6 link, and second 6 link, probably the best bet is going to be on the helmet slot. So yeah, we'll see. But for now, this is a big boy Cyclone. Big Cyclone. I like it. I hope you do like it as well. Everybody like Big Cyclone, right? And thanks everyone for watching. I'll leave the POE to the current character in the description. Just keep in mind that, you know, you can tweak things around. You don't even need to go fucking Doriani prototype. But stacking a bunch of range is pretty fun on Cyclone right now. You can have like a tri-elemental sword, a physical sword. You know, everything should work. You should scale a little bit differently. But I am very interested in Doriani prototype because I do have this amulet. So I decided to go for Doriani prototype. And it works out pretty well. By the way, let me bring up the POB. Let me bring up the POB. Let me load up the POB. I think I have loaded the character into the POB. Yeah, I have loaded the character into the POB. Yeah, tincture already included. So with everything up, right, we are having 17 million, right, with every conditional buff up. This is, wait a minute, this POE, yeah, I just need to remove 1 point. Yeah, so with this POE currently it is 17. Let me just put it to level 100 and we'll see. Yeah, the DPS is same. It's just going to affect the hit pool a little bit. By the way, the hit pool and the max hit, I would like to have a disclaimer on this one, because I think right here I am having the guard skill. Yeah, the automation. If you don't have the immortal code, you will only have a 15k max hit, which means sometime if a big enough physical hit go through, you will have, yeah, you will have a chance to die if a big enough hits go through. So yeah, and in terms of elemental max hit, as you can see with replica abysses, it is this much. Without it, it is this much. So replica abysses is not that bad, right? All elemental damage I'm taking is like heavily mitigated through like layers of conversion and less damage taken because I have the charges basically, right? So yeah, that is everything I want to share with you in this video today. I will leave the link to this particular build, this particular character, in the description. So if you want to check it out, you have a source of references. And I thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.